Go up front here real quick. Yeah.
Jeff, the equalizer, congratulations on the win, Emma. It's not every day that both members of your double pivot score 2 first half goals, especially inside the box. Can you speak about the relationship and also to the influence that both Farah and Sam Coffey had both on the offense and defense today?
Well, I take the first part of the game for us in possession. We were struggling to find them, but that was because of our poor positioning. So we made, I think, remarks within the half to help them get on the ball a little bit more. I think both of them grew into the game. For Claire to get her first goal from a header at the front post was, it's exceptional. She showed how good she is aerially. And for Sam, I think she's in the form of her life. I think she's getting better with every game. I think she's finding her flow, she's elevating all the time her performances. And I say this all the time, she is a top player. And what a great role model for Claire and someone to grow alongside. So I think that both of them, put in exceptional performances, and really happy with both of them.
Go there and then to Jeff and then there, yeah.
Really good on MSNBC. Thank you for your time, Emma. I know Sam was talking mostly about just the next woman up mentality on this team and the sheer depth involved. Like, how do you make sure, especially with another camp in the book, that heading into another season, another cycle here, that the lessons from this camp translate going forward closer to 27?
Well, it is a big gap, so that makes it tricky. But I said to the players in the end in the huddle is that if you want to compete to win the biggest things, it's not what you do here that matters, it's what you do when you go back to your club. Because if you want to be a proficient set piece taker, for example, you have to rehearse it every day. If you want to be a great 1v1 defender, you have to rehearse it every day. And every player knows where their gaps are. So my expectation is that they are training that in their own environments. But as I've said many times, I'm all about improving the whole ecosystem. And I think more opportunities for more players at the national team level will improve the NWSL, because it gives players hope and belief that if they perform, that they're going to get an opportunity. And that means whether you're Izzy Rodriguez going back to club, Sam Mazer, Jordan Bug, I don't know whether they're going to be called in again, but I know that they understand what it takes, and it will give them the ambition and the appetite to be here, and they know I watch every game, so it matters what you're doing in your club. And this is a big country, clearly there's a huge talent pool there, but I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but we haven't won anything, we've just won a game. And there's a long way to go to do those things, but there were, I think, felt for me, things that I've been looking for in terms of dictating tempo, controlling the game from start to finishing strongly, all the messages, all the learnings, especially from Brazil, from Japan. I felt we dictated and we played the way we wanted to. It's not about the opponent, it's about what we do, and I felt that was extremely dominant tonight.
Jeff.
Jeff, this is ESPN. Just expanding on that a little bit, you wanted to see some of those finer details, and particularly from some individuals, as you said yesterday. Did you see that at an individual level of what you needed from them to progress them forward in the program?
Yeah, I think I saw progress. I saw things within it that we've got to be better at. I saw things with our least experienced players that there's still a lot to learn, but they made, if I think about Avery Patterson versus Brazil versus tonight, if I think of even Ali Sentner coming into the game, making better decisions in the pocket, Lily Real, this is her first camp, I mean, you wouldn't know that, she looks like she's been there for years. But again, I have to give credit to the senior players down the spine, Lynn, Rose, Sam, Naomi, Sonnet. They ran the show. They made sure the standards were high, in the team. They made sure we played the way we wanted to play, that we didn't play another game, and they ran the show, and they were superb.
It is a patriotic week here in Washington, D.C., obviously 4th of July coming up, and you're in the nation's capital, connected to the U.S. Did you feel that patriotism, and was that something that you guys was on your mind as you went to the game?
Oh yeah, no, that's what I love about it. I love the firework display at the end. I thought that was my favourite national anthem in all my games in charge. It was awesome. It was hard to sing along to because I couldn't hold the notes for that long. I had a go. And I think the atmosphere in the crowd was, they were on top of you here, and I think all games that we've played, Denver, Cincinnati, here, have been incredible experiences for the players. And you can see, you know, we raised our levels in line with the crowd's expectation, and I'm glad we can match it.
Hi, Emma. Vitas Carousel at FIFA.com. Your team tonight was quite young. I think the average age was just under 23. What do you make of the talent that you have at your disposal and the growth of the group with an eye on 27 of the World Cup?
Learn that you're only as good as your next game. As I said before, there's a big gap between now and next camp. I expect every player to return and produce the same commitment and level of performance for their clubs that they do here. And this in turn will make our squad more competitive when they lean into the details. It's not just the 2 hours on the field, it's the 22 hours around the field. Get their sleep right, get their nutrition right, get their mental fitness right, get their recovery right. All of those details really matter, and we have to work with the clubs to ensure that we give them the right support. But yeah, I think we're making good progress.
Emma, Jason Anderson, USA Today. But you mentioned Lily and Avery and how they've kind of hit the ground running. They strike me as having very different attributes for the fullback position. I was wondering how that has maybe manifested and how that has shown through that you've been impressed with them so far.
I think the similar level. I think Avery's better going forward, Lily's better going backwards, naturally. But they're both fast learners and they're both adaptable. Lily Real was a centre-back that was playing left-back for club, now country, and she's adapting so well to that. And it's a real credit to our youth system, bringing these players through and giving them the right exposures, which is why it is so important. If the USA are going to compete, our young players have to compete on the international stage. They have to play in under 17 World Cups and under 20 World Cups and under 23 fixtures. This is what you have to do to close the gap, and I think sometimes maybe because this country's always been successful, we might think we don't need to do those things. Well, I watched a game, the other 17s the other day, and I watched Japan play us, and played us off the park. And all I kept thinking was we've got a lot of work to do technically, tactically. That's at the 17s age group. Yes, our players are getting exposures at the pro level, but look at the impact an under-28 World Cup can have on our centre. And I could name many players across the world, the impact that has and how that translates into senior national team success. So we have to work with the clubs because sometimes these competitions fall outside the calendar. But there's an under-20 World Cup next year, and I will want to make sure our best players in that age category are going to the under-20 World Cup. So we have to work together with the NWSL, maybe the broadcasting, to get these things right, because it matters for the USA. And in turn, I think we have to make sure we work with the clubs to get the loading right, so that we're sending the players back fresh. And it's a partnership, and one that we've got to keep building.
JT right there.
Thanks, Jonathan Tamblon, Philadelphia Inquirer. The players, the pool of players, as you said, they all do the work at their clubs and they're making that solid. But it still takes a senior national team coach your trust in them
Yeah.
and put them on the field, as we know you left a lot of the European veterans to have this period off. For you, what does it mean for you to place that trust in them and see them rewarded on a night like this?
I think you have to look at my career to know it's not like a concern for me playing less experienced players. I've always maintained I'm a developer and a builder. So, but I also have been involved with a winning team for 12 years. And to create successive competitive environments, you have to keep evolving. And I felt that's something we've been doing even, in the lead up to the Olympics. That was a very inexperienced group, but we're not going to win something again doing what we did in exactly the same way. To win a World Cup, it's another level. It's another level. So I trust the players. They know that. I want them to trust in themselves and have the belief in themselves because they're good enough.
Last two right here, and then we'll go one online.
Yeah, Steve Long, Post International. Melissa Thompson was her usual energetic self tonight. In the first half, the ball was going down the right frequently, and she was being free on the left and not getting the ball. Second half, she was still active, and she was moving on one side or the other occasionally. Was that an adjustment at halftime? Was it deliberate, or was it just for the game?
And we struggled to come out the left, even though the space was there, and that's why I was talking about the positioning of the pivots, because we still had to have low support options in the deeper spaces or when it went wide. And because we didn't get her on the ball as much, I thought their right back had a really good first half against Alyssa. I thought the second half just adapted some things, not just with her movement, but the positioning of Lily, the positioning of Rose, the positioning of Sam, and all of those things add up to create more opportunities for Alyssa, and we found another level, I think, second half.
All right, we got one more, and then online, then we're done. Go ahead.
Also, Monica, WTOP, thank you for speaking with us. For the second game in a row, you've had the fans cheering for their local club players to come into the match. You had Tara and Coy chants. What were your thoughts on the chants? And Tara coming in, as we put her in, immediately quick impact with the goal, with the assist for the goal. What do you think of
On her birthday.
her? And
Yeah.
her birthday.
Well, what a nice coach I am. No, I said to my assistant Denise, we got a fifth sub window. Well, let's put Tara on. She's home, and I think it would be great for her to go out. If I'm honest, I couldn't remember whether I could use 6, and so Croy didn't go in because of that. But I still think Croy is, just working her way back. Tara established herself a little more in the national team, and she's been such a great squad player that contributes to the team in so many quiet ways, and feel like she's really growing in the environment. So I was so happy for her to go in, especially on her birthday.
Last one online. Asli, go ahead. Hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I'm so sorry I'm not there, but I think I spared you from my germs. Emma, congratulations.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you appreciate it. You've known Casey for years. How do you see her coaching style evolving on the international stage?
Casey has demonstrated at both Man United and San Diego that she's worthy of coaching at the international level. I think it's too early to talk about her impact with Canada. She's just got the job. I know how long it took me to figure out some of the playing pool, so I think she will be working through which players will form, the mainstay of her group. But honestly, I'm not interested in that. I was only interested in what we're doing. So I can't sit here as a adopted American and say I've got to think about Canada's long-term development. I've got enough work to do on my own, so I'm not going to give her a head start.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Emma. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.